As always, we give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, which Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father. Yahweh Shai, that's whom this world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, is his true name. And the Rachak Wadash, that is the Holy Spirit. And I would like to also give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. And salutations to all you brothers out there. And I just want to do a quick lesson. As you see in the title, Orchestrated Chaos that will lead to, and what is it going to lead to? That's something you have to ask yourself. And, we, the prophets of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, have been told, by Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, right, through the Holy Spirit, right, the Ruach Wadash, that these things are going to lead to what? The mark of the beast, the Revelation 13 and 16. Okay? That's what this is all leading to. All roads lead to the MOTB. All right? You see? And all things are designed. Nothing is really organic. All these events that you see in the world, they were all pre-planned. Okay? First and foremost, by Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Okay? And then secondly, Esau. The Lord's using this man as the tool to push forth prophecies. Okay? That's why you're seeing, the uproars of the people. Why are people upset? Because according to Proverbs 29 and 2, it says when the wicked are in authority, the people mourn. And the people are mourning right now. Their goodies are getting stripped from them. Out here in America, they're taking away people's benefits. They're cutting, SNAP benefits, different assistant programs, right? Because I heard actually today that since there's this government shutdown, that out here in Illinois, and I'm sure it's of course nationwide, people's insurance rates are going to be going up now. Okay. Then you have a lot of these people who work for the government. A lot of them aren't getting paid. Then Trump said that he's cutting actually a lot of programs, so a lot of them are actually out of a job completely. You see? All right. And that's just one thing. And then you look at these different companies, such as Amazon, UPS, and whatever other companies that are out there, right? These big corporations, they are now cutting jobs due to AI. AI is taking your job now. See, everybody thought it was a cool thing. Let's say 10 years ago, right? Everything was cool with the whole AI thing because it was new, something fresh, right? But now these things are coming after your jobs, and it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter if you're white collar, blue collar, okay, in upper management to flipping hamburgers. AI is coming for that work, you see, and that fulfills prophecy anyways. I'll get that real quick because we'll get some scriptures out now. Let's get this. This is Isaiah, the 19th chapter. We'll get this. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 19 and 15. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. And this place, according to Revelation, the 11th chapter, is spiritual Sodom and spiritual Egypt. Okay? And there's going to be no work in this place. You see it. If you're really paying attention, and if you have been paying attention, for the last, decade, jobs have been getting cut a little here, a little there. But the last, let's just say, year, 2, 3 years, right? Hey, large numbers are going. 30,000, 20,000, 10,000. Whatever the case may be. You just see these large numbers, all right, being announced. Okay? So it's only going to get worse out here. Then you got to remember, with that being said, right, you got nobody that has jobs. So X amount of people only have jobs. Then you have these different benefits getting cut off. Oh, and on top of that, you have the cost of living that just keeps rising while your wages stay stagnant. Eventually, people are gonna uh they're gonna hit a breaking point. And see, not everybody's lucky where they can, they had maybe some savings where they could, lean on that. All right. Or they're not lucky to have, family members to, move in with, whatever the case may be. Some people are really, out here struggling and fighting to survive day to day. Okay. So when everything is taken from them, look, they're going to do desperate things because of desperate times. You see? But this is what Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, wants to do. And really, it's the Lord, because all these prophecies have to be fulfilled. All right? You see? Because we're getting into a point where we're in 2nd Ezra 15 now. Okay? Which I'm about to get that real quick. This is 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter. And it reads here, 2nd Ezra 15, and I'll start at 1. It says, Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord. And that's what we do as men of the Lord. Okay? All right, we're speaking prophecy to the Lord's people. Which, who are the Lord's people? You got to ask yourself that question. Okay? Which the Lord's people are the Israelites, which consist of you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. But I also want to make a statement too. We do have some of our people that actually look like the other nations, right? They look so-called white, maybe Chinese, Arab, so on and so forth. And that's because our men mixed and mingled with the heathen women. And now we have some of our people that actually look like these heathens. Okay? But point being, the Israelites are the Lord's people, and this is whom the message is really for. Okay? And these aren't our words, all right, the men of the Lord's words. Hey, this is what's coming out of the Bible. This is the Lord's words. Okay? He's the one that put it in our mouth. All right? Now let's keep reading. Verse 2, and it reads, And cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. See, everything that the Lord has whatever the Lord has in this Bible is going to come to pass. All right? Now let me jump down, because this is where we're at in this thing. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, which woe means destruction. And that's what's coming to this world. And why is that? Because of all the wickedness that goes on. When you actually jump back up to verse 5, it tells you that all these plagues are sent because wickedness has exceedingly polluted the whole earth. And we're seeing it right now. Okay? All you see is idolatry, adultery, homosexuality, murder, theft, so on and so forth. This is a very, very evil world that we live in right now. And it's only getting worse as time goes by. Okay? Now let's keep reading. This is 2nd Ezra 15 and 15. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. And you see, we're at that point where people are actually clashing with one another. All right, certain parts of the world, you have actual warfare going on, and I'll say this, in America, it's starting to ramp up. Okay? Out here in Chicago, you have people actually shooting at ICE agents. Okay? That was a couple weeks ago. Maybe 3 weeks ago, you had a couple that were pretty much had a shootout with ICE. Okay? Every time you go to these different protests and rallies, you have, the left clashing with the right, but it's only going to, escalate. Things are going to get more intense, where it's going to actually get, more and more physical, where people are going to have serious injuries, and to the point where people are going to die, especially when the lack of food and natural resources are gone. Okay, when there's lack of food and resources, it's a wrap. People are going to go into their animal instincts. It's killed or be killed. Okay, you see. But let me keep reading, verse 16. For there shall be sedition among men, and sedition goes into an uprising of the government, and we see that right now. We see that all over the world. It's just not here in the States. It was what, in France, in Nepal a couple weeks ago. They overthrew well, at least Nepal did. They overthrew the government. I know France. They it's been going on for years. After work, they just get buck wild, go into the streets, set things on fire, right? Clash with the police, and then go back home and do it, all over again. You see? Let me keep reading. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. And that's going into martial law, which that's fast approaching. Okay? That is fast approaching. See, when all this this clashing with government officials keep occurring, when people are looting these stores, they're rioting in the streets, that's going to give the government justification in declaring martial law and making sure that you cannot leave your zone, however they break it up. And if you leave that zone, you will be detained, okay, in prison. Who knows what they're going to do to you? And it's going to get to a point too where it's just going to be kill on sight. All right, that's what's going to happen eventually. Let me keep reading. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, and houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. You see, that's where we're getting into, where it's going to get to a point where people are going to, like I said, either be kill or be killed. Look, when you take away, food, water, medication, heat, gas, electricity, people are going to lose it. People will lose it out here. All right? And it's going to get real ugly, real quick too. And we might be we might start seeing the beginning stages of this thing. Like I said, hey, they're cutting out all these programs. Look, in November there's going to be no more SNAP. No one's receiving SNAP benefits. Okay? People who have government jobs, they're going to keep being furloughed, not getting paid. And that affects everybody, mind you. Because look, now people aren't going out to eat. People aren't going to buy, the latest video game. People aren't going to go to this concert, that sports event. And that's going to affect everybody. People's hours going to get cut, you see? But like I said earlier, this is all orchestrated by the elites. And really, it's the Lord. Because what is it going to lead up to? The MOTB. Because look, they have to do a thing called problem, reaction, solution. These elites, the ones who are running the society, they're creating all the problems that you see in this world right now. They're getting a reaction out of the people, and then they're going to come with the solution. Okay? And their solution is to microchip everybody, to have that installed in you. And this is why I'll say this too. The last, decade, 2 decades, they've been pushing transhumanism heavily. I'm going to say especially the last decade. They've been pushing that nonstop. That's why it's in your movies. If it's not in a movie, it's in um, it's in some type of article, some type of special. You know what I'm saying? You see it nonstop. That's why they keep pushing, digital this, digital that, because they want to get this thing going, man. All right, because that chip, that's them being able to control you. You're literally being marked. You're being branded. All right, and you're saying that, look, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, the elites of them, they own me. I'm their property now. And mind you, that that chip is gonna control everything, every aspect of life. All right. First and foremost, this is gonna deal with buying and trading. Okay, or buying and selling, trading. You see, it's gonna have your medical records on there. Your just in general, your record. All right. You're gonna have a thing called social credit, because they already do that in China. If they want to punish you, they can punish you. They show you that in the one of the episodes of Black Mirror. Forgot exactly what season. Communicate you from a society excommunicado. All right, but let me get this that revelation real quick. Let me get that real fast, because I mentioned it. This is Revelation chapter 13 and 16, and it reads here, and he causeth all, and that word causeth is the Greek word pieo, which the three main definitions for it is formed, fashion, and construct, meaning he set this up in order for you to, you know, take this chip. Like I mentioned earlier, all roads lead to what? The MOTB, chip activities. You see? It says here, and he causes all, both small and great, doesn't matter your age, rich and poor, doesn't matter your economic status, free and bond, meaning it doesn't matter if you're out here walking freely or in prison, to do what? To receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Okay? And it says here, and that no man might buy or sell, save, meaning except he had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. In you, and all you need to do in order to pay for things are for you to either swipe your hand or swipe your forehead. All right, because look, man, let's say if you're a paraplegic, they don't care. Hey, look, you got your forehead, buddy. You see these chips, man. They got what? Neuralink. That's Elon Musk, his company. They've already been pushing that, how it's a miracle device. You know. All right. Slovakia. My bad. Fucking cops. But they've been pushing how that's a miracle device. It's allowing people to move, their bodies, even though they've been paralyzed. You know, that's how they're gonna trick a lot of you people, because they're gonna deceive you with those miracles. You're gonna be able to hear again. You're gonna be able to see, move your lame body, so on and so forth. You see. And the thing is, are you going to trust in the Lord, or are you going to trust in man? And you see the elect, they're going to trust in Yahweh to Esau, Edom. Okay? Let me get that, because the Lord said this in the book of Romans. This is Romans chapter, what is that, 11, I believe? Yeah, this is Romans 11 and 4. But what saith the Lord, Slaki? But what saith the answer of the Most High unto him? I have reserved to myself 7,000 men, who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal. Now that happened in times past, right? With what is it? Was it Elijah or Elias? Excuse me, I forgot. Yeah, okay. You know, they had a situation, you know, back then where hey, you had righteous men that didn't care if they were going to die or not, and that's the same thing in this time period. Okay, the 144,000 and the 1/3 aren't going to bow down to this beast system. That's the new image, man. It talks about what we just read it, the image of the beast. Same thing, just as a different time period. Esau system, where the elect is not going to bow down. And to water to Yahweh Shem Al Shai, because the Lord is going to put the Spirit on us, to, Lord willing, we're a part of that number. The Lord's going to put the Spirit on us to not bow down and also intervene via divine intervention. Brothers are going to have spiritual powers. Angels are going to, come protect us. And then even if you so-called are, so-called, person, right? That has to die for this truth. So what? At least you didn't so-called die being a bitch straight up. All right. You see? You said the hell with that. I'd rather follow the Lord than follow man. All right. And it's like it reminds me of the situation with in the Maccabees. You know, you had those 7 sons and even the mother that died because they believed in righteousness. They believed in the Lord, and they didn't want to bow down, to them Greeks. You see? All right. Like I said, and this is what we're getting into. Like I said, this is going to lead to heavy persecution. Let me get that real quick. Let me get Revelation, the 12th chapter now, real fast, because this is where we're at in this thing. See, hey, the elites in particular of Esau, they're mad. They're losing. They know it. Even these lower level Edomites that you see, on a day-to-day basis that you may bump into, while at work or, at the store, whatever, the case may be. They know that they're losing. The world that they've had for so long is now slipping. Slipping from them. So they're about to lash out. Remember, they've been living deliciously. They've been living good. For the past few hundred years. Past several years. 100 years, You see? They don't want to give it up. Why would they want to, give up the power seat? You see? But this is Revelation chapter 12, verse 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell therein. It says, woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. And these Edomites know that they have a short time. And like I said, in particular, the elites, though, because they understand the Bible to a degree. They're not on the same level as the prophets, okay? But they do understand what's going on. They see the men of the Lord waking up, okay? The kingdom of Judah, the kingdom of Israel, waking up to who they are, coming back together as one family, as one people. They hear our videos, they watch, our prophecy updates. They see the UFOs, which are the chariots of the Lord. Those are angels in there, by the way. They see all these things. They're getting very, very scared. They're nervous. And they know that whatever they do, it's just falling into the hands of the Lord. The whole playbook of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. But they're doing anything and everything to fight it and escape it. But it's not going to work. But let me get this now. Let me jump down. This is Revelation 12 and 17. It says, "And the dragon," which that represents Esau. Because remember, it describes him as what? That old serpent. He's the one that was in the garden. He was that snake. All right? You see? Because look, this whole story of the Lord is about good and evil. That's all it's about. The good guys versus the bad guys. And it's been like this forever. Every time you had, the righteous, around, there was always the wicked around. You had, Adam, right? Then you had whom? The serpent. Then you had Abel. Then you had whom? Cain. Now you have Jacob, which are the Israelites. And you have who else? Esau, the Edomites. You see? Okay. But let me read this again. This is Revelation 12 and 17. "And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and the woman represents Israel." In Jeremiah, was it 6 and 2? It says that Israel is likened unto a comely and delicate woman. The Lord sees us as his wife, his bride. Okay, you see. So hey, these Edomites are mad at the Israelites. Why? And it says, oh, let me keep reading. It says, "And went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which kept and this is why they're going to do it, which kept the commandments of Yahweh." The fuck, man.